today I'm going to help you make the perfect rations and food and snacks for your next LARP. This is kind of geared towards more fantasy or medieval. Please note I am not a reenactor, so nothing here, or very little here, actually goes by reenactment standards, but you could definitely use some of it. So if that's what you're looking for, I know there's heaps of great information on there on reenactment, but I'm just not that cool, to be honest. They know a lot. So let's just dig right in, because I have gone crazy with this. These are just some ideas. There are a lot of things that I don't like that aren't here. Things like smoked fish, boiled crayfish can be a really good thing. Pickles, I'm not a pickle girl. Olives, sun-dried tomatoes, things like that are all good options. So let's just dig in. I've tried to separate them out to make this a little easier. First, let's start with breads and crackers and things like that as your base. So having a nice loaf like this one's got all sorts of herbs and that sort of stuff on it. This is a Turkish bread, but you can also get like a nice sourdough roll or something like that. That's going to be great for sandwiches. If you do any stews or anything like that, being able to have a hunk is great. These are crisp bread, and they're artisan style crisp bread, seeds and the like on there. These are great. You can throw a little meat, cheese, even canned tuna or anything like that on there. I try to get rolls that look really rustic, and sourdough tend to have a lower GI, so they're going to last you a little longer, and they do look a bit more immersive. I did manage to get some biscuits. So Australians don't normally do biscuits, but they are more of a savory, almost like a savory scone. I think that'll be your best descriptor. I've got these little wheat and honey crackers, and I like that they are pretty uniform, but they do look a little more rustic. I've got some little cheese twists there. It's like a pita bread that has a whole bunch of herbs and cheese and stuff on it, and they're really crunchy. So you can actually do this at home, just covering pita bread with all this stuff and baking on low heat for a long time, and just keep an eye on it. I do like these sorts of crackers as well, which go great with dips. This one I think is like an onion one. Now you can find a lot of time in the international area, or I actually found it at Aldi's, so it was pretty cheap, pumpernickel. So it's a really dense bread, and it comes in like a block. So when you've got that and you unwrap it, it just looks really good. It's really hearty, and it's got the good grains in there for you, but you can get something like that. It's also a very aromatic bread, I guess is the term. And then also I've got a croissant, because croissants are delicious. But again, it's going to depend on what your character is. If you're like, say, a high elf and quite fancy, you might go for croissants and kind of the nice breads. Say you're half orc character, a bit more rough and tumble, you might go with like the pumpernickels and things like that. You could be like a hobbit and that sort of stuff, so you might have the lighter, fluffier things. So yeah, just kind of let it blend with your character there. So that's through our breads, which are very important, and they're your bases. I do take some dips. So I'm taking hummus and sweet potato with roasted cashew. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep these in your cooler, your esky, whatever it is, and then just put some on your plate. So don't take this out and about, because you've just ruined all your immersion. But when you've got like just a wood plate with some chunks of bread and crackers and some of the other things, and a big pile of whatever that you're scooping out, it does look quite immersive. I've also got some really nice sweet Bavarian mustard from Germany, which is really nice, and it looks really grainy. It just looks very natural, which tends to work. And then I also have, again, if you've got a fancier character, look at the fruit paste. Like they have quince, they have, this one's blood orange, that sort of stuff. It tends to be near the fancy cheeses. And again, just adds a little bit on the plate. Be careful if you're a sword crafter, those are glass and it is not currently allowed, so be mindful of that. And then on here, let's go to some fruits. Now, I'm a big fan of bringing along fruit, fresh fruit, dried fruit, and you can even get freeze-dried fruit. So try and tailor it to your character. I've got pear, apple. The little mandarins are great to put. They've got tangelos, all sorts of stuff like that. Berries. I'm a big fan of berries. Adds a splash of color, and it's giving you antioxidants, which are sexy, right? So I've got blueberries, I've got strawberries, I've got whole dates that have a pit in them, so know whether or not it has a pit in it, but they are really immersive. Dried mango does have kind of that sugary look to it, versus freeze-dried mango has more of its color and isn't as powdery, but the texture is really like, it's like super crunchy. So give and take there. Some grapes. These are dried white mulberries, and I kind of like that they look a little bit like grubs. I don't know if you can really tell, but I think they look a little bit like dried bugs. So again, I would go with a more like a ranger or a druid or something like that might have those. I've got some little dried coconut chips, dried apple. These are all fantastic to throw on a plate with other things. And also some of these, like having an apple in your bag, it just gives you that little shot of sugar, and it has the extra kind of moisture in there, which is just so important because you're just going to be tired and thirsty, and having water-rich fruits is never really a bad thing at a LARP. Okay, so on to vegetables. Just go to your produce section and see what you like that's easy to store and move around with. You can get dried veggies as well, like kale chips and all sorts of cool stuff. If you didn't know, they have small cucumbers, and these are great because you don't have to cut them up. They're less mess, and it's easier to put into a pouch without it getting too smushed because they're pretty tough. I'd still be mindful. Don't jump around on them. Carrots, I try to get kind of smaller ones, or if you can get ones that are organic, they look really nice, like you've just pulled them out of the ground. In the produce section, not canned baby corn, I'm a big fan of. You can use baby corn as well, actually, from a can. Celery, small tomatoes. Basically, yeah, you just want to grab and go. Snap peas can be really yum. And one thing I really like the idea of is dried mushrooms. So any character that you have that might have lived underground or in a cave or spent a lot of time in the forest scavenging, they would probably have a pretty good knowledge of mushrooms. So having some of those dried mushrooms, and they look really good in a ration pack. The next thing that's super essential are nuts. So important. Unless you're allergic, then don't kill yourself, please. If you can find them in the shell, I'd probably say that's the most immersive. So pistachios, macadamia nuts, cashews are what I have here, but really any and all nuts. I really love the way Brazil nuts look. There's just so many options. So pick your favorite nuts, have them in a pocket. They don't get smashed easily. They give you some protein. They give you a little bit of fat. And also if they're salted, you get a little bit of salt. So if you're running around and haven't got to eat, please do that. We'll move on to meat. This is my massive tray of meat here. We've got jerky. Everyone should always have jerky. It goes in your pack, doesn't really go off easily. They also do like jerky sticks or meat sticks. Think Slim Jims and stuff like that for my American friends. Twiggy sticks for my Australian friendos, or kielbasa, anything like that works really well. I've got a boiled egg, and boiled eggs are great. They store pretty well, and it's a good boost of protein. A little pro tip, you can take it and crack it and roll it a little bit. Put it in a water of just cold water in a tea bag, and it will dye little, it'll look almost like spider webs on it where every crack is, and it'll give it a good flavor. So that can definitely add there. I've got some prosciutto here as well, just sliced prosciutto. I've got smoked meats. So these are great for your main meals. Smoked chicken, smoked ham. Having a big chunk of smoked ham or something like that is great. Again, think like fighter, barbarian, half orc, whatever it is. That's going to really help out. Or even any sort of character that would eat a lot of meat. It's good to have a big chunk of smoked meat. It's already cooked. It's ready to go. You can eat it cold. there's very low risk of getting sick from it. And then on to salamis. I've got some that are already sliced, a couple different kinds there, mild and spicy, that I'll use on sandwiches. And then I have like the massive just chunk of salami, which if I'm doing a platter and I'm just coming out with like a wood plate with some meats and cheeses and that sort of stuff, I'm more likely to grab that. Now I'm going to move on to breakfast, things that you can bring to just do a quick little breakfast bundle. Of course, throw a boiled egg in there, or a bit of cured meat if you like, or of course fresh fruit, but some other things. Scones. Scones are great. You can toss one of those with a little thing of preserves. One of the best tips I can give you is after Christmas, I'm talking like day after Christmas, go around to the big department stores that sell those box sets that have all the little jars of chutneys and jams and peanut butters and honeys and all that sort of stuff that you would buy for friends as gifts, if you didn't know what else to get them, I guess, and stock up. They go half off, 75% off the whole set, so it's very, very cheap, versus I've just gone down to the store and got this one and it cost me like $4. So definitely highly recommend that. So like having one of those and some scones. Muffins are another great one. I've done a small muffin because that's just my preference and it fits my character a little bit better. And I've taken the little paper, because I just bought these, but you can really make them. Taken the paper off there. And pikelets. I love pikelets. So they're just like silver dollar pancakes for my American friends. And you can just make small pancakes and they store really well. Or if you live here in Australia, they sell pikelets at the grocery store because life is wonderful. Okay, moving on to sweets. So trying to stay immersive. I'll go from the least immersive to what I feel is the most immersive. Least immersive are going to be things like cereal bites. So these have like fruit inside of them. Or like Wheat Bix do these like cereal bits to go. But if they're in a pack and you just need a little something, a little fiber, a little sugar, all that sort of stuff, those can work really well. And then I've got some little hard candies. And look, boiled candies have been around for ages and ages. I'm not sure when. If you know when the first boiled candy became a thing, do comment below, because now I want to know. So those can be a good thing. Again, if you feel your blood sugar dropping, it's good to have a little something you can quickly pop in there. Coconut macaroons. So not the little macaroon sandwiches. These are just basically egg white, coconut, and sugar. Really easy to make, and they look pretty immersive. Tartlets can be great, especially if your character is nobility, high-end, very kind of fancy character. That would really suit. Sesame snaps, another great one. They just look great. It's just sesame seeds and sugar, I think, basically. These are, and I'm going to say it wrong, they're Dutch. They're speculoos? They're amazing. They smell like Christmas. These ones have a design on one side, but I would just serve them on your plate with the nuts up. So this one has a whole bunch of almonds and stuff like that. So they look pretty immersive. They could be a lapis spread, if you like. Little almond finger there. It's like a little cakey sort of thing. And then if you want to get really creative, you can do with fondant and a little press. These are little butterflies a friend made for me for a cake, and they're just colored in with like food dye and edible glitter. And I just, how cool would it be to have like a fey character and you're eating little butterflies? And then yeah, you can just dry those out overnight and have them ready to go. We're going to finish up here with some cheeses. I go crazy for cheese. I'm just going to tell you that right now for nothing. I went to Costco and got a platter that has 4 different kinds of cheeses already sliced. So I'm mostly going to use this for sandwiches. So when I do the platters with meats and cheeses and that sort of stuff, I've got brie. And these I haven't taken out of the package, so you can see the massive difference. I did this on purpose. So you can see this versus like any of these other platters that have been laid out nicely. So undo them in your tent and then come out with them properly. This one's got like 3 different cheeses I can separate to have like wedges of cheese. These are actually Spanish cheeses, but one is a sheep's milk and one's a goat milk cheese, and they have really pretty rinds on them, if that makes sense, because you do want aesthetic to be there as well. And then just a goat cheese. They have a lot that are wrapped, like rolled around in herbs, or I prefer ash, so I've got the ash one. And then I just have a big old block of Monterey Jack cheese. If you like a harder cheese, it does last longer in the heat, so there's that tip. Okay, now I'm going to teach you one thing very, very quickly. I'm going to teach you how to make this look more immersive in your bag. So I've just got some baking paper, and I'm going to, or wax paper, we call it in the States. I'm just going to take this salami and I'm going to wrap it up really nice and tight in there. And then I'm going to take some twine and I'm going to wrap it around it and just really package it up well with the twine. And that's basically it. Now you look like you're a traveler. And these are just the rations in your bag. You can do it this, the cheeses, the meats. Make a little, your own bundles of your favorite fruits and veggies. So there you have it all wrapped up, and it looks good, and it's also going to protect your bag from grease and things like that. It will help it be stored properly. Some things you can do after this, if this isn't quite enough for you, you can use some cheesecloth, you can use any sort of fabric that suits your character and make a little bundle. So say it's something that's this shape, like an apple, right? And you just grab grab a dish towel. It's not very exciting, but you just put your apple in there and you can literally just wrap it and put some ribbon around it, and then it looks like a little parcel. It just looks really cute. So use material that you like. Cheesecloth breathes really well, so it tends to be quite good, and it does look very immersive. But I really love the simple trick of wax paper or just baking paper and wrapping it with a bit of twine, because that just looks great. So when you pull it out and you've got, you know, your little knife and that sort of stuff, and you're just taking chunks off of it, so immersive. And then plus you get to eat salami or cheese or whatever it is. So hopefully you found this helpful. I'm sorry if it's gone on a bit long, but these are all my things. But what do you do? What are some quick and easy things? Everything here, I've done this on purpose, has been bought from a grocery store. I haven't made anything here, because if you're in a hurry, these are things you can just literally go to the store and still be immersive, because a lot of people complain that they don't have the cooking skills, they don't have the baking skills, they don't know what to do, they feel overwhelmed. This will keep you in sandwiches and fruit and veg. You've got everything you need here. It can be very balanced. So hopefully you found this useful. Make sure to hit thumbs up if you did. And you know, if you want it, you can subscribe if you haven't, because I try to do some clever things for you guys. Thank you again for watching this. I love you so much. And don't forget to keep being your weird and wonderful selves.